Hi everyone, I'm Matt Ellefson, founder and CEO of Survive It, and this is my wife Melissa, and welcome to Fearless Friday. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different, something we call the 5 pillars of health. And what we mean by that is there are 5 essential elements of health in order to promote your best wellness possible to your body. And especially people that are dealing with a cancer diagnosis, we need to do things that help our body heal. And we need to protect our body from any additional toxins, any additional stress, lack of sleep, all those things that can contribute to poor health and that can compromise our immune system and all those horrible things. So I'd like to tell you first a little bit about how the 5 pillars of health started. They started from Melissa. Melissa developed this because I was battling cancer, and she really wanted to help in some way, doing some research on nourishment, the effects of physical fitness, and all these things. And so she started a little company called Live It, and she developed the 5 pillars of health. And then actually I added on to one of those, we need to Survive It. And to be honest with you, that's where the name Survive It came from. That ended up sticking and going on to be its own big thing. But today we're just going to go over the 5 very briefly, and then in future editions of Fearless Friday we're going to talk in more detail about each one of those. So I'm going to let the expert take this off a little bit.
The expert. So yeah, like Matt said, it's the 5 pillars of health, and we truly believe that there can't be one missing. And often we overemphasize one area of our health and just completely disregard other areas. And when in reality, it all works together. And so the 5 pillars of health are Nourish It, Move It, Protect It, Support It, and Rest It. And we came up with them very intentionally, just to make sure that we've covered all of the areas of health, both physical and emotional well-being. So the first one is Nourish It, which is the most common one. People think about, I need to eat better, I need to be on a diet, or whatever it is. And the way we look at it is more about how do we properly nourish our body in order to heal. How do I give my body what it needs in order to work in the most efficient way? So it's not a diet. I hate that word. I hate it a lot. In fact, Live It came because it was the opposite of diet. That is just a word that does not exist. We eat to nourish our bodies. End of story. So the 2 things that we think about when we're eating to nourish our bodies, whether we have cancer or not, is it inflammatory, and is it going to mess with your blood sugar? And that's how I determine if something is a good meal for me. Is it going to cause inflammation in my body, or is it going to mess up my blood sugar? And that is how Matt eats as well. And so it's really pretty simple. The things that are inflammatory are going to be all the fake crap, the processed things, the inflammatory oils like the vegetable oils, canola, soy, corn. Those types of things are inflammatory. And focus more on an anti-inflammatory diet, which is going to have a lot of those beautiful, healthy fats, such as olive oil, avocados, eggs, coconut, and just more of those anti-inflammatory type fats, along with smart proteins. And so a lot of times people will get freaked out about, I can't have meat. And, we come from a place where we think that meat can be a very important part of your diet when used in a smart way. And so rather than having this giant, porterhouse steak, you maybe have, like we did last night, we had 5-ounce, tenderloins, and then the rest of the plate is vegetables. Okay? So I'm kind of all over the place, but those are the 2 things that we think about. Is it inflammatory, and is it going to screw up my blood sugar? And what I mean by blood sugar is when we are eating more of the standard American diet, which the acronym is SAD, S-A-D, we are often we've got way too much carbohydrate. We're having, tons of rice, potatoes, chips, corn, beans, sugar. And that is going to send our blood sugar all over the place. And it's very, very difficult to create a healthy human when your blood sugars are all over the place. And so to avoid that, we want to keep our sugar low, and instead focus on vegetables and fats and good protein. So that's kind of it, we're not going to get into specifics at all, but I did want to just say, with each of these tips or each of these pillars, I wanted to give you one takeaway. Like, if you're going to make the biggest bang for your buck today, move the needle in the biggest way, as far as your nutrition goes, the biggest thing would be to have a proper breakfast. And so any healthy thing you want to do it in the morning, front load your day, because that's when you have the most willpower, and it just gets harder as the day goes on. And so you should see maybe Matt can share what he eats for breakfast, but that is the first thing. If you are wanting to make a change and improve your diet, I said diet, but you know what I mean. The biggest, your life, the biggest thing you can do is have a really, really solid breakfast. Not one that's rich in carbohydrates, not one with cake, which cake is like muffins and, that type of stuff. No, we want really nutrient-rich foods. So maybe Matt, do you want to share what you eat?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to say one other thing. Why nutrition is so important to people facing cancer too is because we're bombarding our body with toxins to kill the cancer. And so our body needs nourishment to live. We need to restore those healthy cells. So we really need to focus on the most nourishing foods that we can put in our body, and that's why it's so important. But I start my day off with a really healthy protein shake, and it's all organic, plant-based proteins. I put in some organic fruit. I put in a number of other anti-inflammatory ingredients, and then I also have farm-raised eggs. I have 3 eggs every morning from grass-fed chickens raised free range. Just the way that they're supposed to be, living on a farm, happy, and then I'll have some additional protein with that as well. But I'm sure that the protein that I do eat, I'm sure that doesn't have any antibiotics or any types of hormones, steroids, any of that stuff that they shoot our animals up with. So just buy the healthiest, cleanest stuff that you can get your hands on before you put it in your mouth.
And I think this is a good time to say, we get it that this is expensive and it's not, for everyone's pocketbook, and also sometimes it's hard to get super good quality stuff. So instead of freaking out about, I can't get, these special golden eggs, just do your best. We do good, better, best. And if we're always just making the best choice of the options in front of us, that's a win, right? And so don't get all hung up on it has to be perfect. Just, we want to focus on a good breakfast, whatever that means to you, and then just keep building on that. Okay.
And I actually believe that the organic, the good food is not expensive. It's just the cheap food is too cheap.
Yeah.
And it's cheap because they put garbage in it. They put stuff in it that they need to get rid of. So if you think about it that way, it's a little bit easier to budget accordingly.
Okay, so that was nutrition, Nourish It. That is the biggest. There's just a lot of components to that. The rest of these go a little bit quicker. The next one is Rest It, and that mostly means our sleep, but also means relaxation. But we're just going to focus on the sleep right now. Often when I'm working with my health clients, my health coaching clients, they think that we're going to start with food first, but actually no, we're going to get your sleep in order first, because if you're not sleeping well, your body cannot regenerate. You're not going to be making growth hormone. Your blood sugar is going to be all over the place, hormones everywhere if you're not sleeping well, because you see you're in a state of stress. Your cortisol is high, and it's going to screw around with your blood sugar. And so we want to make sure that you're having a really good sleep cycle. And the biggest way to do that is to be intentional about it. Like, if you know what time you have to be up in the morning, you set, your bedtime is going to be 8 hours before. End of story. So, for example, tomorrow morning, we have to leave here at 4:30 a.m. That means that we have to be up at 4. That means we should be in bed by 8. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. But that's always our goal. Like, we count back 8 hours. And don't be afraid of things like melatonin or those more natural herbal type of sleep aids. If that's going to help you get into the cycle, then that's okay. So, again, we're just kind of touching on these just a little bit. All right, next is Move It, which is moving your body in a way to keep it limber and make it strong. And when we talk to people that are first diagnosed, and this is what the situation was with Matt as well, we went into boot camp mode. Like, he's like Rocky in training. He got the diagnosis, and instead of, oh my gosh, it's, surrendering, no, he flipped it into, I'm going to kick this cancer's ass. And I'm going to do it. I'm starting today, because he needs to build up muscle in his body for those rainy days. That came.
Yeah.
They came. And because he had done the work, it was easier for him to get, not easy, but it was, he was able to get through it. And so getting that mindset that I'm in battle mode, I'm in boot camp, basic training, like, I got to do what I got to do to put muscle on my body. That's very, very powerful. Whether you have cancer or not, because the reality is all of us are going to have a rainy day someday, and our bodies need to be ready for it. So, and one other quick thing too about, maybe you want to say this, Matt, when you're going through chemotherapy and you're not feeling good.
Excuse me, one of the best ways to detox is sweating it out. And so you have to do physical activity to the point that you're sweating. And my workouts, I work out at a minimum 3 days a week, and they're not long. I never work out more than 30 minutes. So you can get in a great workout within 30 minutes. But you need to bring in a sweat. You need to sweat out those toxins. That's a great way to detox.
And it also improves neuropathy too.
It does. Absolutely. Our dog has some new friends coming.
He's the best. He's the best little guard dog. So here's our tip for making sure that we are exercising smartly. Alternate your days with something that is more gentle, like yoga or a walk or whatever it is that's more gentle and easy on your body, and some stretching, with days of more high intensity work. And so what I mean by that is full out effort, whatever that means to you, full out effort for 15, 20 seconds and then back off. So sometimes that might mean I'm going to jog a block, and then I'm going to walk 3 blocks, and then I'm going to jog another block. But just getting that variance in your heart rate helps to create more lean muscle mass without even lifting weights. So you wouldn't even have to, and you're still going to build that muscle. So that is the easiest tip today. Just alternating, one day yoga, light stretching walk. Next day, I'm going to do more high intensity. Okay? Last two, the next one is Protect It. And what we mean by protect it is to remove those environmental hazards that we are surrounded with, and sometimes we can avoid it and sometimes we can't. But things like hey, who's that man in our yard? Oh, that's so funny. My dad's here visiting from South Dakota. And guess what? It's really nice in South Dakota. He's not even escaping cold. It's warm there and it's warm here. So anyhow, so protect it. So we are removing those environmental hazards, things like mold, um, radon gas, which
Absolutely.
is the number one cause of lung cancer in non-smokers is radon gas. And if you are living in South Dakota, you really do need to have your houses tested, because it's something that you wouldn't know unless you tested. So be sure to do that if you are in South Dakota or anywhere.
Number one state for radon gas in the whole U.S., Iowa. Very few people realize that, but there are many, many states and many, many areas that radon gas is very prevalent. So it's really inexpensive to get it checked. If you haven't done so, do it.
Just being, like I said, you can't avoid it, but just being mindful of the things that you can control. So things like switching from no more aluminum in your deodorant. Maybe you're not eating the great big fish that have a lot of mercury. Maybe you're not putting lipstick on that has lead. Just being a little bit more mindful, and those are things that we can help coach you through. But listen, Matt is on 2 different transdermal medications that go right into his bloodstream pretty quick.
For my skin.
Through his skin. And so you think about all the stuff we're putting on our bodies, that's going into our bloodstream. And so all of this collectively makes a difference. And so when we're able to just remove the hazards that we can, we're going to be better off. The one tip, the one takeaway home, action step for this is to get some sunshine / vitamin D. That is one way that you can boost your immune system, is to improve your vitamin D levels. And so the best way would be to get some sunshine if you can. And so if you're in South Dakota right now, go on out, get 20 minutes of sun on your skin. Not to the point where you burn, but get some sunshine.
In South Dakota right now.
In South Dakota right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I think it is. That's what I heard. I'm getting some thumbs up. So get some sunshine. So vitamin D, and you can take oral vitamin D. You should take 1,000 IUs per 25 pounds of weight. Okay? So I take a 5,000 IU. Matt's in the 10s?
10. I take 10 or 15. Yep.
So we are really optimizing, and I do it because I have an autoimmune issue, and we need to optimize. So that's your takeaway tip to help improve your immunity. Make sure that your vitamin D levels are good. All right, last one, and I think this is the one that Matt will talk more about. Then, because you're probably tired of hearing my voice.
No, you're doing great.
So support it, and this is probably the most important, because you can be doing all of these great action steps, but if your soul needs attention, you can't heal your body when your soul needs healing. So maybe, do you want to talk about that?
It is. The support element, and a cancer diagnosis comes with a thing called fear, and we all know what that means. And when we're gripped in fear, and a lot of times it's the fear of the unknown that is the hardest thing for us, because we don't know what's next. We don't know if we're going to make it through. We don't know if the treatments are going to work. We don't know when they stop working if the new treatment's going to work. There's just many reasons for that. And if you can find purpose in your life, if you can heal your soul and love yourself and learn to really, really love yourself, that is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. And so we're gonna provide some tips with that on how to help, how to find your purpose, and how to even find your purpose in your pains and sufferings. I view my cancer diagnosis as giving me the ability to help other people. And because of what I've gone through, and because of what I've learned, and I've been there, now I can help others get through it. And to me, that's a gift, and I find purpose in it. And that keeps your mind and your support system, it keeps it in a happy place. And you really can't, she said it right, it's really difficult to heal your body if you have a broken soul. You really need to heal your soul first. And we will give you some great tips on how to do that. In fact, I think Support It is the top priority out of these 5 pillars. And you can't, to have ultimate health, you can't be doing 4 of these pillars and leave one of them out. For example, if you did all 4 of these really well and you left protected out and you're living in a home full of radon gas, you're not going to get better. So you need to do them all, you need to learn them all, and we're really excited to set you in the right direction and provide you with good downloadable resources that you can take control of each of these and maximize wellness.
I do want to say too that the takeaway action step for Support It, this is what I wrote down. I didn't even ask you first, but I just think it's something that so many people struggle with is forgiveness. And so one way to instantly start to heal your soul is to forgive those that need forgiven in your life. And maybe that's you. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for something, or maybe it's someone that you've just harbored this resentment toward for a very, very long time. Friends, that's making you sick. That's making your heart sick. And so you need to learn how, you just need to forgive, not necessarily forget, but forgive and move on so that you can take care of yourself and heal yourself. So your action step is to make a list of who do you need to forgive. Is there someone in your life that you need to forgive? And if it's you, then get real about that and do it and then move on. And understand that you have grace, that we are loved, we are forgiven, we have been shown grace, and so we need to accept that and love ourselves and move on. So
it is. Forgiveness is tough because there's some people out there that are really hard to forgive. We all know that. But if you think of it, unforgiveness is like eating rat poison and then sitting back and waiting for the rat to die. It isn't going to happen. So you need to forgive that person. It does nothing to them, but it helps you. And so it's really, really important. It frees your soul, it frees your spirit, it allows you to live a life full of love in a much more abundant way, and that's really important. Yeah.
All right.
So those are the 5 pillars of health, or an overview. I look forward to taking each one and talking about them in more detail in the coming weeks. But until that time, this is Survive It. And as I always close, live strong and live fearless. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. Thanks. Let me push this.